Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm
Oh,
married.
yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler. What I'm talking about. I'm Jake.
I stumble over the intro.
I'm Tyler.
Yeah, they know. It's 200 episodes. 202 right here.
Wow.
Episode 202.
Yeah, well, you didn't go by my suggestion and make Thunderbolts. I'm sorry, the new Avengers 200.5. Sorry.
I love that you...
You know what I meant?
I had a stumble, but man, you fell down the fucking stairs.
I tripped a little bit. You literally
cartwheel.
blew up a fucking bridge. You
know
tripped.
what the worst part is? You're a broadcaster. Not today.
Oh, you think I bring my broadcasting chops to this shithole?
This shithole is off panel topic.
This is where I can cut loose and say shit and fuck.
Tits.
Can I say tits on the air? I probably can't.
You could say dick, I think, right?
Yeah, but I think okay. So if I understand it correctly, I can call somebody a dick.
Right, but you can't talk
But
about
if I
your
say
dick.
my dick, yes, or somebody
Or
like
going in a butthole. They're really against anal penetration.
scat.
You can't play that.
No, they're talking about they're talking about shit.
Hey,
Yeah.
welcome back to T-Tone Time.
Every time they make a joke about scat singing on Night Court, because Mel Torme is a big part of that show, I just go, "Who's singing with their shit?" That's gross.
You know what I always think of? I think of basketball. And that fucking song. I'm a scat man.
I'm a scat man.
Well, you know what? It
It's the montage where he's doing all the.
Before we started, well, you talk about a fucking time capsule.
Wow.
I know, I'm just flying.
I don't care. Well, anyway.
No, well, before we recorded, I was telling you that, like, funny, because you did a Dumb and Dumber quote, and then I said, funny enough, I had been listening to that soundtrack on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got to talking, and you were like, you talk about a time capsule tonight. I go, oh my God, I know. And it's like, it's just crazy, because like you said, it's just like,
now,
you don't think about it in the time.
I said that at the time because most of the music they played during this movie, the clips, you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And then we were sitting here looking at the Spotify.
That was also, I think, there's a...
Here's the problem with
There's something
soundtracks
going on.
under the Spotify like regime and this new era of like rights and stuff, is that a lot of bands that signed on for the original soundtrack will now say no, maybe for a couple reasons, but one of the big ones I'll bet is I haven't had a fucking real job in 20 years and I need this money, so no, I'm not taking 5 cents.
Well, it's also, give me my fucking royalties, I guess. But
fair. Absolutely fair. Absolutely
give me my
fair.
money, but
Absolutely
yeah.
fair.
I
I would be fine getting a one-hit wonder and then doing it at state fairs the rest of my life. Fuck, I don't give a
Dude, Sir
shit.
Mix-a-Lot talks about how much he loves Baby Got Back because it pays for everything.
You know what? I'm willing to bet there was a time in his life when he fucking hated it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
After the third or fourth time doing it in one day on talk shows, I'll bet. You know? Like in one day.
Yeah.
I hate this song.
Do you think that, like, I don't know, man. If
Well,
if,
he
if
does
my
really-
legacy
he
is
does
about
truly-
time out, if my legacy
He does like back.
is that song,
He does truly like
I
back.
think, like, if I'm Sir Mix-a-Lot, I've lived a fulfilled life.
Well, he's not lying. So, I mean, why wouldn't you like the song? If he was like,
You know what? You don't have a lot of songs about... Well, I guess you do.
what?
But I feel like you don't have songs, like, to the explicitly talking about something. Like, I don't feel like you have that with, like, a boob song. You don't have that for boobs. You have that for butts. with
You
this.
might. You know, the new era of, like, rap is basically, like, kids with weird names just not really rapping but yelling a lot.
Skeet!
And then talking about fucking. Like, they're not even, like, trying to be, like, you know, artistic about it.
But yeah, that bass.
They literally will be like, they'll describe the whole act. And it's like, hey, what happened to, like, hey, come on in, baby, and keep your, you know, you can leave your hat on. You know, that's sexy, right?
But
you don't have to be explicit.
yeah, I always think it's just funny because I love, and maybe we would do this as an interesting podcast like mini series. But I love doing the origins of where you've heard a song, because most of the time it's the radio or it was on in the car when I was with some friends or whatever. But a lot of the time, for me, a lot of the time it's been like random fucking niche video game soundtracks that I like. That there are a few moments that you can kind of like look at a few like, so let's say canon events when you look at a marriage and you think what led to us being so perfect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I one day heard oh god, what is this song? God, there was a really shitty early 2000s song. Something. Hold on. But it was a song from the video game Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Now listen to how I say that. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. That's like niche on top of niche. This is a spin-off of a popular video game.
So yeah,
and she sang that song with me, and I'm like,
okay,
that's love. I'm just saying, it's interesting to find the origins of some songs where you're like, where have I heard this? Oh, it was in that random fucking basketball movie.
I would say there's not a lot of cross when people are talking about my music. There's not a lot of crossover in opinions as far as like what people describe it or whatever. But one thing that does arch over almost every style and person and from wherever you are that arches over is that sounds like something I would hear in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I don't hate it. I don't hate that.
Yeah, but and that's another thing. Just
I'm not mad about it.
I'm sorry. I know we'll get to fucking Andor and we'll get to your comic books. We'll get there. But I love kind of starting the show with like these kind of conversations because no shit, I was legitimately, I think maybe even earlier today, looking up for some music to listen to at work, and I'm pretty sure I was looking up Tony Hawk Pro Skater because I had a ska mix on Spotify that it's one of the that they curate for you with their little AI.
Madden used to have really good soundtrack.
Madden 2005 soundtrack.
I don't know what years, but when I was playing them in Denver, I bought it every year, and they had one year. This guy took Sam Spence, which he's the guy who did all the orchestral music for the NFL in like the 60s and 70s. Like the really old school stuff. He took all that stuff. I can't remember what his name was, but he took all of it and remixed it with like hip hop beats. And it was really cool. And the opening for my fantasy football show is one of those songs, actually. But there was a lot of like rock and stuff.
They did that for Need for Speed Underground 2.
I bought more than 3 or 4. There's one band called Inter Shikari, and I fucking love them. And I know of them because they had a song on a Madden, and I went and bought the album, and it's like one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
There's more than a couple of albums that I owned at some point.
Dude, I'm
back in the day, children, we used to buy CDs and shit.
Dude, I shit you not. One of the most formidable things in my life is NCAA football 2006's soundtrack because I played that game so much, and it holds. It's one of those video. Everybody has that thing that's like it just right in my nostalgia,
right in your balls.
Oh yeah, I feel it in my ball. But
I can feel it.
That soundtrack is legitimately a formidable part of my life. So I totally get it. Like there's just some. So shout out to the niche soundtracks. I will say the song that I was talking about, "Fever for the Flavor," by Hot Action Cop, and I will tell you, it is bad. It's not good. Not good. Also,
there's a song called "I Wish" by Skilo, and it is one of the best songs. I want to say early '90s, but maybe late '80s. But it's one of the best songs ever. It's got one of the fattest beats, and it's funny as fuck too.
It also makes me laugh because a lot of this music is a time capsule of a video game that came out in 2005. And it also makes me think of like, oh, I remember that whiny teenager.
Right.
I remember that kid who I've always been into punk and ska like that, so like I always loved those Tony Hawk games and all that shit. So yeah.
Speaking of punks,
the PS2 era,
Cyril Karn,
the PS2 era
from Andor.
Shout out to that. I miss those days. Now I'm an adult. Everything's expensive. I bet that's what Cyril felt like in this next arc of Andor. We're talking about Andor.
Andor
Season 2. Stop doing the voice that nobody likes but us. Andor season 2, 7 through 9.
79.
Yes,
means
it's 7 through
one.
9. What does that fucking mean, Tyler? Your face. He's just disheveled.
So one of the things I love, we talked about this last
Spoiler
week.
free for right now.
Yeah, for
Screw it.
yeah, fuck you, dude.
Spoilers.
Not fuck you. Thank you for
No.
listening. But
You say that to me.
But you should pause it right now
Yes.
and then come back after you watch the
have
episode.
to watch these episodes.
Because to be really, I don't want to do non-spoil. You've been avoiding them all day on the internet, and you come here and you get spoiled. Well, just turn it off for a second. Go watch the show and then come
You've
back.
had more than 24 hours.
God damn it! We're trying to get ahead of the curve.
Curve?
So one of the things we talked about this last week, I absolutely fucking love the format of this show. I love that it's been here's 3 episodes, here's 3 episodes, here's 3 episodes. And you could almost look at those first 3 episodes as, hey, what's really going on here? And this really does nothing to do with anything. It does lay the groundwork for Mon Mothma, but I really feel like the last 2 chunks, the last 2 trios of episodes have really brought home like what it was really like under the Empire and so on. But Jake, you had your hand up.
Well, because I thought you were going to a point that I was about to converge. and
Please,
make with.
but please,
Like
make the point.
Cyril, like Cyril and Cassian converging in this episode.
I do like that they seem to have written it in such a way
Yeah.
that like you start with your okay. Let's take our 3 episodes, right? Your first episode is catching up and kind of introducing the conflicts in this trio of episodes, right? The second episode is, furthering the story, and then the third episode you're going to have the resolution of a lot of these threads, not all of them, but a lot of them. And they're going to converge in such a way that you're watching it all happen at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they write it so you're like, going back and forth from this to that and this to that.
And it's done with such a continuity that I feel like, and I was talking to another friend about it who she only saw the episode 7 and I had watched all of them and she was like, because she's watching it with her boyfriend, so it's like she has to wait. I don't. But what I said to her was, this feels like, and I don't think you watched Game of Thrones.
I got into it, but then I was like, this is fucking
not,
stupid.
Yeah, that's not important. What I'm getting to is the last season of Game of Thrones, they had less episodes, but they were longer. They were like 90-minute episodes. Like they were long, some of them.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to get at is, why are you so fucking annoyed by that?
Get there.
I am.
I don't like Game of Thrones.
I'm not fucking talking about it. Jesus. What I'm saying, and for the comparison of it, I'm saying this is what they did, but better, because it's just a much better written show.
It feels like
top to
seasons.
bottom. But that's what I'm saying.
A little bit.
What I love about it, when I told her, I was like, I think what's really cool is it's a movie a week, because if it's 3 hours of it's a movie. It's 3 hours.
If you take all of the actual footage without the credits, you're probably looking at 160 minutes.
There's 5 to 7 minutes of fucking credits on these shows. Jeez Louise, so many languages, which is good. I'm glad they're getting it. But so yeah, that's what I love so much. And
it feels like a new season a week.
I can't stress that enough. Like you were saying last week, how important.
Well, the design
this feels like
the design team right away. They were like, okay, first thing we have to do, and I don't know if we'll revisit Gorman next week, but we did see them first in the first chunk, and then the last 2 chunks have dealt with the Empire subjugating and using propaganda to get everybody else against Gorman, and then doing what they did, and then somehow turning it around to having people in the Senate talk about the fallen Imperial stormtroopers who opened fire on
who shot
harmless defenseless folks. But
wait, did they shoot first?
Yeah,
they did, because she ordered him fire.
It was all most of it. It started with the Imperial snipers, and then they took out one of the guards, And that older guy who had the kids, who had all the kids as guards, you know, he was like, well, fucking fire. You know, they're firing on us.
Yeah.
And that's when it just escalated from there. And then the troopers moved in. Anyway.
Man, I want to let you go because I feel like I've been talking too much.
If you look at, you know, we forget that, like, when we left them last week, they're trying to stop this big armory in the middle of town. That was a year ago, guys. You know, a year ago.
Each chunk is a year.
So we see Cyril is clearly, like, not happy with his role.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what his role is. And he finds out during this arc, and spoiler alert, unfortunately loses his life.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks because to me, I understand because we're moving towards Rogue One. We're moving towards that now.
Uh-huh.
So we got to tie some of those loose ends up. I get that. But he was, to me, the most compelling character on the fucking show. And the actor was...
He did a great job.
Chef's kiss. He carried such disappointment in his every move and word and just was so good at it. So
I read an interview that he did with I think it was like Variety, but I read like a chunk of it, and he talked about where Cyril was in that story and that part of all of that rage that flows out of him is realizing that he was being used by his girlfriend. He
almost kills her.
He's been controlled and manipulated by the Empire his whole entire life. And the time that he feels accepted by a group of people, and they and even though they have their own reasons for it, but to like have some like genuine relationships outside of the Empire, and then to have someone be like, what kind of human being are you? What kind of monster are you to do this? Like, you led us to slaughter.
And Dedra and Parfaglas, whatever the hell the old guy
is. That dude is
great.
He's got the perfect Empire voice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's perfectly dastardly.
Bad luck, Gorman.
It's always dismissive, even when he's saying something nice. You look great in that dress. It takes
You're in this now, Dedra.
And almost distracts me from your ugly face.
Clearly, they hooked Cyril in. They
Bye.
They hooked in Cyril with Dedra using her womanly wiles because they knew he was lonely, whatever, right? And clearly, at some point, Dedra actually fell for him. Like they.
Yeah.
There was clearly at the beginning of last arc, I'd say episode 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
They looked like they had a really loving and understanding and partnership almost, right?
Yeah, legitimate.
I mean, yeah, that was a little weird, but it was like, hey, I'm not king shaming, right? You know, turn off the lights because I'm gonna peg it. You know, right?
Wow.
Well, right? Come on. She looks like a pegger. He looks like a Peggy.
Right.
Okay.
Well, he does.
Personalities.
Cyril's a sub. If we're being honest.
And she's a dom. Clearly.
Come on.
Come on.
Anyway.
No, but
so I want to keep going on that.
But at the end of the story,
yeah, keep going. Well,
at the end of the story, she clearly she is very sad, and she takes a long time. I loved that scene in that room where she's trying to compose herself because this is the first time we've seen her break at all. Yeah. This character, and she's been around for a season and a half now, and one of the more compelling characters as well. I would love to see that actress just hanging out with her buddies because I want to see what it's like when she doesn't scowl the entire time. I guarantee you, she laughs every so often.
She wears some clothes that aren't a fucking turtleneck, and not the same white uniform all the time.
Right, the character clearly scowl. Maybe she does. I don't know. But
I'm saying I think the turtleneck.
That'd be fun to
feel
see.
Like those uniforms are just cutting.
That'd be fun to see that actress at a press conference or something. And she's like, "Yeah, it was fun working on that show." Like, what the hell? I'm so used to you. I'm like,
right.
That's good that I did that for the podcast, the audio podcast.
Again, just the idea of her just in normal everyday clothes, just being like, "Whoa, you're not in an imperial uniform.
You're not an imperial stooge,
You're an actor."
Yeah.
So,
but the sets in this fucking show.
We get there, backtrack. That relationship, I love how they parallel that with Cassian and Bix.
Yes.
because very similar to their relationship, it wasn't their relationship wasn't romantic. It starts to develop that, and I again had some conversations where they're like, I don't necessarily, it confuses me, this relationship, and I'm like what you were saying. You also keep in mind, it's been a year since that first season, so there's definitely time for them to develop a romance in that time.
They've developed a romance by the time 4, 5, 6, if not 1, 2, 3, by then.
No, I'm saying between season 1 and 2. It
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like
yeah,
they've developed the romance.
Well, I think there was sexual tension between the two of them at the beginning.
And that's another thing that I think this show does amazingly well. Both these relationships have been paralleled.
Yeah.
And both of them compelling. Both
but
of them
never equal.
Both of them believable and charming and romantic in their own ways. But both end in heartbreak. Because Cyril dies and Bix leaves Cassian. Because she's like, you need to focus on this.
Well, even if Cyril doesn't die, he almost kills her because he's so pissed.
Yeah, he almost chokes her.
Well, he realizes now, and regardless of what she actually feels at the moment or what she's grown to feel, he doesn't care because you used me. And it doesn't matter to him if she actually feels love for him now because it doesn't matter.
I can't love
It's
her.
all fake. It's all fake.
Yeah, he can't be like, I love you.
But I am surprised at his reaction. Like,
I was like,
holy
whoa.
shit.
Well, that's what I'm
But
saying.
it was
That's the
kind of
rage.
nice to see that character kind of be like, fuck this shit. And go, do
Yeah.
it.
Go ham.
I just wish it wouldn't have been, choking somebody.
No,
woman,
I would have been. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree. I would have been
him standing up for himself is great, but not the act that he was doing. Obviously,
I think it would have been just as fine having that fight with Cassian as a sign of him.
Dude, he almost kicked Cassian's
No,
ass.
but that's what I mean. That's what,
Holy
Tyler,
shit!
come back to me. That's what
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm on my own reservation.
I'm saying that act of violence and that rage, I think, could have been conveyed just in that scene.
I'm fine with the way that was portrayed because I
don't necessarily know if you need to watch a man choke someone.
No, I don't think
In
we
any
need to do that.
context.
Look,
But you also
no. Let's.
we're not justifying it. That's what I would be clear.
No, absolutely not. What we're saying is, it's part of the story and it's
Sure.
a natural aspect and place for the story to
You
go.
understand his rage because of he again has been.
Of course I don't.
He has been manipulated
I
by
don't
the
like
Empire.
Dedra. I don't like Cyril, but I don't like that Cyril choked Dedra.
Tyler, it's what makes
That's clear.
It's what makes the story so good.
But it's part of the story. Yeah, it's fine.
It's the humanity because it lets you see that, like, you know what?
Oh, dude, when he asks him, "Who are you?" What? I've been chasing you all this time. You don't even know who I am.
Yeah,
And then he gets shot.
yeah. And then you look at it. It's like, what was this all for, Cyril? Nothing. And
Well, no, they made him into you can see his mom by the end of it. They've made him into an Imperial martyr.
Yeah.
Because her mom was like, her mom probably went to his uncle, Uncle Hilo
Yeah.
or whatever. Hilo? Whatever.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, it's.
so he'll live on. And yeah.
I want to talk about just the absolute insane level of escalation that these last two episodes brought out.
Well-
because that episode 8, and I think there was something somewhere
I look at 7 and 8 as almost two halves of a whole, and then 9 as kind of its own
the
thing.
a
little bit.
the resolution of that.
Mainly because 9 is mostly dealing with Mon Mothma getting the fuck out of the Senate,
And
right?
Cassian and Bix splitting up and
So sad.
yeah, and all that. Dude, that was
But
heartbreaking.
Dude, you get it from her point of view. But the problem is that when she says, "I'll find you," you say, "No, you won't." I said that to the TV and I started crying.
Dude.
Because she won't find him. He's going to die.
Yeah, I know. When she says that, I said, I literally, yeah.
He's going to die on Scarif.
My heart sank. I was just like, damn. Brutal. But
Don't be sad, Bix. He's going to be with Felicity Jones, and she's pretty hot.
I want to watch Rogue One after the next week, honestly.
I will have to almost, won't you?
I feel like I have to just to see the end of that.
If I've offended you, I'm sorry. But please point that somewhere else.
I want to keep talking.
Alan Tudyk is back. K2SO is back.
Stop. Stop. Come back.
No.
Stay focused.
No.
It's on panel, on topic.
What?
Whoa.
Rebranding.
No, I know. We're all over the place because we're so excited to
No,
talk
but
about it.
let's finish up talking about 7-8 because that's kind of like I said.
And I want to talk about
Sure.
specifically because I think somewhere Tony Gilroy said that this was like his most important work or something. And because I think it was an article somewhere, I didn't read it. I just saw a headline saying that, and like and this before I watched it. After these episodes, we know why. And then I watched these episodes. I'm like, oh, because this hits extremely close to home. And this feels extremely relevant with the world we live in.
Yeah.
And it, like this sequence in Gorman, when they said, "We are Gore, the galaxy will remember."
The galaxy's watching.
The galaxy's watching, yeah. When they're chanting that. And that's just the ambience in the back. By the way, the sound design of the show is fucking amazing.
It's very, very relevant because Gaza's about to be wiped off the face of the earth.
But that's what I'm saying. And like, or even
totally justified by the U.S. Totally, yeah.
And to have that, and then in episode 9 he said,
I don't approve, by the way.
Episode 9 where the guy says, "It was my people today, it's your people tomorrow," and it's like, wake the fuck up.
We've already talked about this, like,
we're living in
it. If you, first of all, you're a horrible person if you're living your life having problems with different groups of people for whatever reasons. You don't understand why you're angry at certain groups of people because somebody in power told you to be angry with them. You're not angry, and you don't understand this. And the problem with that is, at some point, you're gonna run out of groups of people to hate. And so are they, and then they're going to come after you. And that's what people who celebrate and help, prop up these fascist regimes, like the one that is happening in our country right now. That's what they don't understand, is that you might think yay, I'm on the team, I'm on the side that's, doing all the bad, I'm doing all the whatever. But at some point, they're going to find something for you to break the law too. And then find a way to justify putting you in jail or sending you to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Or your family. And you don't seem to understand this, and you won't until it happens. And that's what's sad for all the rest of us, is that you don't have the fucking foresight or the brains to know that you're being duped.
But like what makes that scene even more like, I thought it was going to go a certain way, and it did kind of end up going that way anyway. But I thought when they started singing, they were just going to open fire.
I thought that he was singing to send a signal.
I thought they were just singing to be like, we're going to die together.
Don't you notice that like all the leaders got together? So that I believe that was a signal to start doing something else, because they started bringing out the Molotov cocktails at that point and the weapons.
But that's what I'm saying. I thought at that point that they were going to get shot. Like, I thought the Empire was just going to be like, well,
I didn't know what was going to happen, and then when I realized what they were doing, I was like, oh, that's even better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, wait a second, let me.
Oh no, they're going to fight. Like,
let me just give our guys a reason to open fire on unarmed civilians.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna fucking lose Gorman, we're gonna do it standing. You know what I mean? And
the whole time he's still trying to take shots at her, which I thought was just like, there's murder going on all around him, and he's still trying to get a shot at her.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude, and like and then the fucking Imperial droids came out. Holy shit!
That was
wow.
Just slamming people in the fucking walls. Like, oh my god.
That game I showed you off the air, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was truly, and I sent you a thing of a dude, like a gif of a dude crying after I watched those 2 episodes, because it was like, fuck.
Oh, it's sad, man.
Fuck. Because it's like, I know where this is going, but that's what I keep saying about, I have always had, for whatever reason, like, not as much, be like, well, I know he's not going to die. He's going to die in Rogue One, blah, blah, blah. I know where this ends. But the writing has been just so good the last, like, this whole, all this shit, all of it. The first season, this season, like, all of it has been so damn good that again, as we've always said, you will look past certain things that you've already these things that are stopping you from enjoying it to be like, who fucking cares? Just watch this show and enjoy it. And
this show is, I mean,
just
Andor is
so
the
good.
main character. But if you haven't watched any of Andor, I don't think you need to watch season 1. I really think you need to watch season 2 because it delves deeper into what's really going on in the halls of government in the Star Wars universe better than the fucking prequel trilogy did. Prequel trilogy tried to do it, but they did it really boring, in a boring way. Like, hey, did you know that they're substituting our committee for this other committee? Like, no way! Now we have droids. And Andor's like, I can't believe that I have to make this speech. I'm gonna have to, and when I get killed, and like Andor did it. Is doing it in
them
a cool
escaping the city was insane.
cloak and dagger way, right?
Yeah.
And like the prequel trilogy tried to do it, and like, hey, everybody, did you know that there's 3 branches of government? Like, no, George, no. We want lasers. We don't want. Yeah, exactly.
Star
right.
Wars schoolhouse.
Well, I vote for no confidence. Like, oh no, like that's not exciting, George.
This is
it's
how
not,
democracy dies.
That's not. You know what I mean, right? So yeah, take a page for Andor. Season 1 is great. I think you want to watch it just to get.
Oh my god,
'cause
the
it's a
Andy
great
Serkis
season.
episode alone.
But to me, the most important part of this project is the second season.
Oh, God.
Especially when you take it the way it's been going and everything with the 3 chunks and I don't know if you noticed also, but I noticed this, and I'm willing to bet that it's true. These 3 episodes were directed by one person. The previous 3 episodes were directed by a different person, and the first 3.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's really smart of them to be like, hey, here's your 3. This is your arc. Like, you're the director for these 3 episodes. You know what I mean? I don't know how they divvied up
I'm
in
sure that Tony.
Hollywood.
I'm sure Tony's going to do the last 3 and just
I have no
wrap
idea.
that up. I think we kind of dealt with everything we want to talk about those 2 episodes. I was kind of like, okay, what are we doing here with the whole like force healing shit? Where I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was like, do I need this?
You know why? You know why I'm giving it a pass?
Because they didn't actually force heal.
No, because I would love it if that lady was my grandma.
She's so nice.
Right?
Make me some cookies.
Nay, I'm not saying anything about my grandmas. I love my grandmas. Rest in peace. But that'd be nice to have like a lady like that living next door or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you today? I'm doing great.
Would you like some cookies?
I do. Are they fresh baked? Of course.
I make them with love every morning.
And force.
Oh, and by the way, it's Mrs. Doubtfire, apparently. Because I was doing a fucking Scottish.
Oh, dearie.
Oh, dearie. I'm Miss from Mrs. Oh, Mr. Doubtfire.
I'm Robin Williams.
Oh, Mr.
I'm
Doubtfire.
Robin Williams doing
He had
a
a big
Scottish
cock.
accent.
What?
I said, Mr.
Oh.
Doubtfire. He had a big cock.
Oh, dearie, I'd ride him till
Oh,
I see the
dearie.
moon.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And then he'd go play 18 holes, and he called me 18
I
holes.
was the 19th.
The ni-
20th.
I was
That's
the
the kind of
19th.
woman she
I
is.
was the 19th and the 20th,
Yeah,
dearie.
that's right. That's the kind of woman she
And
is.
sometimes if I really got it in, the 21st.
Well, I felt like that would be the beginning of it.
What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know. Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire, sexually explicit. Why? 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 Why,
All
Tyler?
right.
Why?
How are you?
Uh,
I'm going to tell you about the time.
It's just her talking about the time her and her husband just
oh,
banged.
and he knocked me back out the dairy.
I didn't
Knocked
wa-
to
I
the
didn't
bottom.
walk right for
Knocked
days.
the bottom out of my vagina.
My pelvic floor flew out.
All right, Jesus,
I'm
get me
glad
out
I
of here.
processed my kegels that way.
Oh, there's a gas leak in my basement.
Smells like shit down here.
And they're talking like Mrs. Doubtfire. She's doing a smutty romance novel.
I threw my
Remind,
legs.
remind me to tell you about
Shut
the
up,
time
we're
that,
not doing it anymore.
that he brought another lady into our bedroom, into our metal bed.
Hey, forget the Ventura quicksand. You're in Doubtfire
Listen
quicksand.
here, guys.
Woo-hoo.
Listen, I love
No!
as much as I
No,
love
I want to talk about
as
episode.
much as the next guy.
I'm gonna
Come
turn.
on, just play
Do you
with it. Not what I meant. no. I meant like play in the sandbox with me. Like, let's have some fun.
Making it worse.
All right.
In the sandbox.
No, you know.
What are you playing?
Well, no, we have like you and
games?
I have like a sandbox of characters, and I like nothing
Why
better.
would you say toolbox? Why did you say sandbox? You know your sandbox that you carry around with you, like a toolbox or a tackle
You
box.
carry a sandbox around with you?
Yeah, buddy. You never know when you
I
got to
was
make.
riding up my
Hey,
shorts.
I took that Corona
Makes my shit
tagline.
all gritty.
I took that Corona tagline seriously. I made my own beach.
Wow,
I always bring sand.
that's horrifying.
I also throw it at strangers.
So yeah, I liked Andor episode 789. That's all I got to say about that.
No, I wanted to talk about episode 9, her speech.
Oh yeah.
That speech.
I actually wasn't paying too much attention to it because I was so engrossed with everything else happening around it. Like, Jesus Christ, like all the
Oh, it's crazy.
and can I just say is Krayla is probably my favorite character in this show. Luthen's right-hand lady.
Oh yeah, because she's so fucking sassy. I love it.
Well, she's changed her look.
Yeah.
Because for the first half,
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah.
had the high.
And I love about her because
Hairstyle.
she is that character that you need to be like, hey, wake the fuck up. All right? Like, you knew what this was. You knew you were probably going to die. Wake up. You're one of our best. We fucking need you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that she just has that attitude because those people exist in real life that are no bullshit. Like, hey, you need to like figure your shit out, and they always give you the tough love of like, I need you in the shit with me, and I love her. She's great. But the Mon Mothma speech is incredibly relevant to our times because she speaks so much about what the Empire does by strangling the truth and
ripping it from our hands.
and controlling a narrative like our own fucking government.
Hey, yeah, here's a real easy one.
Or sorry, not our own government, our own press, because they do.
Everybody who is listening who might be undecided about Trump, here's a really great way to prove to you that this is what's happening in our own country. Antifa is a shortened form of anti-fascist. Okay, those people do not like fascists. They're not terrorists, and there's also no like national Antifa headquarters, okay? It's not like an actual organization. But the people in power right now would have you believe that there is an actual terrorist organization called Antifa that has national offices and cells all over the country, and they're trying to bring down the United States. Like, if you understand that means anti-fascist and you understand that anybody can be Antifa, you understand, hey, that's really dumb what they're trying to do with that. It's almost like that's what they're trying to do with Gorman. Whoa! Whoa!
Your head's full of spiders.
Your
man.
head's full of Gorman delectopods or whatever the fuck they're called. You know what I like? Hey, man, you know what I like about...
God, now we got Gruden. You go to one fucking Frank Caliendo show and you think you're an impressionist.
Now he won't talk like anybody other
We
than
did do
Madden.
that last week. We didn't mention that. We did go to see Frank Caliendo.
Well, we didn't do any off-panel, off-road bits. We should
I
have.
feel like we lost that drop to the ethers of time.
Yeah. What drop?
Off panel, off road.
Oh, I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Shut your heart. You know it to be true.
I'm sure I've got it somewhere in my pants. Let me look, and it might take me a while.
Why did I join in? I don't know.
Because you didn't know where we were going.
Oh, I'm sure.
How long have we been gone?
Speaking of which, let's transition into that to transition into the books.
Mm.
Yeah, we saw Frank Caliendo last weekend. Or last week. On
It
Thursday.
was fantastic.
Fantastic!
He didn't do Jesse, did he? Ventura?
No.
No.
I don't think he's ever
But he-
done him.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
But he does...
That's Sasso. Sasso will own that. You can't top Sassos. You just can't.
we
Will Sasso, by the way.
we are big fans of comedians in general, and Frank Caliendo is one of those guys who is just fun and knows how to do a lot of really different voices.
Did you watch Mad
and
TV?
there were times, and there were
Okay.
times when he was just up there just riffing between different voices that he could do.
Yeah.
And it was fucking hilarious. I had a great time. The pretzels, what else did we have? Pretzels and what else?
Pickles.
Yeah, those were not good. I thought they were pickle chips. And they bring out these giant
Oh, they
honking
were like fried
John
pickle.
Holmes sized pickles with breading not even that good.
Yeah.
It was and it was basically just like hot pickle. Here's hot pickle.
But I hadn't had dinner, so I was hungry.
I'm
So
sorry. I should have let you order. I was all aggro, like, no, this is what we're getting. You're not ready yet? I was kind of a douche about it. Sorry.
You said it.
The pretzels were good.
Let me make some weird noise in the mic for you. Yeah, we saw him. That was actually the first time I had been in a comedy club that wasn't already a bar that was doing open
What?
mics.
Oh.
So like this is my first time actually being in a comedy club, let alone seeing an actual like
This was
touring,
second time.
like a professional touring comedian. Which I don't even think professional is the term for that because I mean like I don't know, but I know him from Mad TV even before the fucking ESPN Adam Schefter and all that shit. Before that, I knew him from Mad TV, and that's why I asked if you had seen it because I know for sure that's why you know who Will Sasso is. Because those two used to like, and when they did their fucking De Niro Pacino scene in the ice cream shop, have you seen that?
No, but my favorite Will Sasso impression is the Lance Bass show. That is my favorite shit
His
ever.
Kenny
did.
Rogers though.
No, because he looks nothing like Lance Bass, but
Yeah.
he dances like him. And in that large frame of his, and he's doing like the thing. It is, hey everybody, it's so fucking great.
But yeah, so I know
That's why I love Will Sasso. You know who else I love from Mad TV is McDonald. What is his name?
not Norm.
Is it
Michael.
Chris? Michael? I think so, but he's been in a ton of shit.
He's a character actor.
He is fucking fantastic, dude. He was in Spy with Melissa McCarthy. He was one of the henchmen, but he's fucking fantastic.
He's the dude who did the Stewart and shit.
Yeah.
He also got ran over by.
I don't know what.
He's such a fucking bit comedy guy.
Yeah,
that
but
he's
he
in
nails
everything.
it.
He's
He
in
nails
everything.
it every fucking time. You know what I mean?
But
He doesn't show up and half-ass it for a paycheck.
I've seen Caliendo on like TikTok and shit doing his impressions, and I will say like, it was a treat to watch him perform. Because it really was a man just talking to himself in different voices.
He said at one point, like, I don't even know if you guys need to be here.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said it was the perfect like comedy show for you and I to go to, and it's true because even when I was a kid, I would always love to do fucking voices and make myself laugh. So it's like as someone who does that, to see the person on stage, you're like, I totally get why he's just because he giggles as much as we fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, he's laughing just as much as we are during the show. And I love when comedians, I'm not saying they're like, oh, you shouldn't laugh at your own fucking joke. But it adds an extra.
If you giggle to yourself
Yes.
about how silly
then
you're
you
being,
know the punchline's good.
I'm fine with
Like,
that.
he was doing Tracy Morgan, and he's like, I don't know if I should do that. And then
Everybody's like, yeah.
he was already going to do it. But, he had to get that because he's a professional.
Right.
He's like, I got to get crowd participation. I got to keep him up.
So, yeah, what he did was he took a bunch of Morgan Freeman roles and replaced him with Tracy Morgan.
I want to put a baby
I
in
want to
you.
put a baby in
And
you.
he said, Virgin Mary. Because he's Morgan
God
Freeman's
and
God.
Bruce Almighty.
Virgin Mary, I want to put a baby in you. Immaculate conception. I'm not even trying to do it.
No,
fully
it
'cause
was
he's too
it was great because like he would just stop and just
I love his
he's great.
RDJ because he said the way he described it was the burp.
yeah.
It's like you're letting out a burp. You're trying to get it. He said it was you try and say as much as you can letting out a burp or something like that.
Yeah. He was really good at that.
Him doing. And then at one point he just did what he called the jukebox thing, where he would just take requests.
Yeah, people were just shouting
His
out to him.
fucking Robin Williams is underrated.
Yeah.
Because he even gets
I was hoping he would do Pacino, and he did.
Foster Brooks. Somebody said Foster Brooks. And he goes, is it like you cross the bridge and you go into 1985 here? What the hell? And it's like,
We're special here in Iowa.
it's true. Our politics, everything from 1985. The Ronald Reagan station.
Actually, in '85, we were
19?
moving toward liberal, moving towards blue in '85.
Who?
Iowa.
Blue? All right, Tyler, it's book time.
It's book time to play with your books. Open them up to page 5. Read
Stop.
along.
Do you ever have popcorn reading in school?
You know what? Fuck you. What?
Popcorn reading?
Popcorn.
Where you would read as a class.
Now
and
that
then
I heard
you'd
you,
call out
I
someone's
stand
name.
by my fuck you. Popcorn. What do you mean?
No, man, cool. Talk about your stupid fucking Superior Avengers. Number 1. Which one? Do you want to do that or you want to do Absolute Martian Manhunter?
Which one do you want to do? I don't care.
I want to talk about Martian Manhunter.
That's fine.
You bitch.
Here, you pull it out.
Absolute Martian.
Pull it out. Show it to me.
Todd. He's doing that.
Todd.
This is Mark Piper.
Todd. Whatever.
Absolute Martian Manhunter number 2.
Number 2.
Written by Puberty. Sound like Jerry Seinfeld.
Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez.
Thank you. Denise? Because of the Z, maybe?
It's probably Denis, because Denis
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. Do you know he's Canadian?
Canoe? Anyway. I love it when my stupidity stops Tyler dead. It's my favorite.
Fuck you.
So, issue, every time we do a book.
Issue 2.
Yeah! Opens with a banger, because you're like, holy shit, what's going on here? So it opens with like a game show, and then sorry, I didn't mean that to happen. I was trying to show it to you. It says, spin the wheel of fortune, and then there's blood soaked
He's having
all
a
over the
psychotic
panel.
episode.
What?
Well, it's hard to describe. Suffice to say, like, the art is gorgeous.
Yes, you see it. So you see a picture of like a traditional alien poster, you know, and it's staring at this guy, and he's got his arms out in like a Christ pose after he's killed people, a handful of people.
So we are. Last we saw, there's a hostage situation taking place in the place where Martian Manhunter lives, and he's on his way to. But this is the story of the guy. This is from his perspective. a
Yeah.
little bit.
So and then
And he's clearly being controlled by something. He's not in his right mind.
So then we cut back to our 2 protagonists, John and the Martian. And yeah, we see him start to talk with him more and interact. And he keeps trying to tell him, like, I'm just doing it this way because your brain can't fully comprehend what I'm trying to tell you, is what he says throughout the story. Is like,
You're just kind of dumb, so I'm trying to help you
I know
out,
this
human.
is like a weird acid trip you're having right now, but trust me. And so then he keeps talking, and this is what I love, and I will always appreciate a comic book that completely only, in my mind, could work in a comic book, because this absolutely takes everything that's great about this medium and really stretches it as far as it can go.
As far as it can go.
And then snaps and then stretches it farther, because I'll say it. This art is fucking incredible, and this is a feast for my eyes. I love it.
Don't hold back.
I love it. Jesus, man. So, like, as we're going, we kind of get more of their relationship, and yes, it is
He's trying to explain to him, but he
it's similar
doesn't really.
powers that,
yeah.
and we're showing that yes, it's the Martian Manhunter shape shifting and the mind stuff and reading minds and all that. Like, that is a part of it, but it's still like the fact that he becomes a fucking parking meter, or then he's a little baby and then he's screaming at the baby, and then this lady beats him up because she's like, "Quit screaming at my baby," because he keeps seeing him. Nobody
He's
else.
losing his mind.
Yeah. Because he keeps seeing no one else him, and he's like, you got to expand your mind. And he also, again, calls
He's
himself...
not quite sure. He's moving through town, and he's doing this case,
Oh,
but
here
he's
we go.
not quite sure if he's losing his mind or if it's all... He hasn't decided yet if he's losing his mind or
yeah.
if he's just... or if it's real.
This book gives me, like, Hitchcock vibes, in a sense that every time I kind of look at this stuff and read it, I hear, like, a Hitchcock soundtrack of, like... When he's standing out, and it's like, but then again, it has that, and then it also feels like a comic book, because then he's like, the whole human race is under attack. He goes, under attack from what? And then he goes, investigate, open your eyes, and it goes, Martian vision, ultimate outsider perspective is the thing, and then it just like, poof, like one of the many mind fucks of the book. And you just see like eyeballs and a coffin and I can't describe this. This is too good. Read this damn book. But like some of these pages, dude, some of these splashes, and then he does this cool thing where, yeah, I'll get to this 1 second. He does a thing where he constantly talks about the targets that they need to get that are trying to kill, like destroy the human race, and he says we need to. Every time he says this, they must be hunt, kill, save, redeem, healed. And I love that. And then he has a random the Martian also shows him like, oh look, I can bring up your memory. I'm inside your head. I'm with you. I can look in your memory, and pulls out a memory of him like trying to peep on a neighbor, his hot neighbor, you know. And I don't know, man. I just fucking love it. I just love it. I was eating this shit up, and you kind of had a different perspective. You weren't as like gushing.
No, I
about
didn't.
it.
Well, no, I like the art and stuff. It's just really not clicking with me yet. But yeah, so there's a guy who's lost his mind, and he thinks that everybody's an alien invader, and John Jones is kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
So we are entangled. Prefer entangled. You must go. Trigger opens fire in 3, 2, and this guy is just opening fire on people. And so he's driving out there. Let's ride, partner. Spooky action heroes at a distance. And he's sitting in the passenger side, just chilling out. And like this one where they show the guy on top of the roof, but he's like,
yes, I want to talk about this.
all right, just calm down.
No, I know. I wanted you to get there because I was just fucking. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, look at these 2 pages together, where he's opening fire and like the thing where like they're trying to replace this. I don't think I've seen that a lot, where there's a caption inside the character of a silhouette. Oh, you know what I'm saying? This book is just doing shit you don't see in a lot of books, and. Yeah, and then like you were talking about, the kaiju thing of him, and then the bullet going from that kaiju panel into this other panel. It's like I was talking about that Defenders book. This dude is just cooking.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, it's
I love it. And like I love it, and it's also the artistry to be like, I can appreciate how beautiful this looks, but also how fucking crazy this is because it's an active shooter, you know? And like the tension of this. And I think it makes it even more insane because it's just
these people are and so he catches up to him, and Martian Manhunter goes into the guy's head, and these people are bleeding out, and you can see like their memories / like life forces eking out, and it's just colors. And so he's trying to get inside this guy's head, and he realizes that he can be Toomas, or he can pretend to be a kid from his childhood. And he, while the Martian is finding everything, and he's just about to get him, just about to find it.
Yeah.
And that's when he goes, level 18 delusion, hallucination, brain rotter, invasion coded, classic us versus them architecture, very delicate, destruction, construction, and he gets rid of it.
Yeah. That's what okay.
And that's
so,
when the cop shoots him in the fucking head.
And then, oh my god, the artistry that is put into this, while also having that juxtaposition of extreme violence, is just insane. Because instead of a blood splatter, it's a fucking rainbow of colors, and a bullet. Again, just doing shit I haven't seen before, man. I cannot tell you how much I fucking love this book already. We're 2 issues in, and I'm like,
and he's clearly sad because he knows that he
could have saved
him. Yeah.
He didn't want that guy to die, and even him being an active shooter, he deserved to be put in prison. Not
So he
die.
finally goes home, and clearly he's troubled.
Yeah, and oh god, dude, and this shot, I'm gonna wax poetic every time I read this book.
You're gonna whack what?
Oh yeah, when he's when he's laying next to his wife,
Yeah.
and then it's the same shot, but it's the Martian showing they're both like fuck.
So
Yeah, awesome.
Jake pointed this out to me, and I kind of had glossed over this.
When he jumps into his head.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But I kept saying that like.
Fucking.
I kept saying that like it's not really gelling me. He's like da da da, and every story has been, and he made it clear. He's like, well, in the original comics, John Jones is a Martian disguising himself as a police detective named John Jones, a human.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, when he first comes to Earth, he doesn't know he's a Martian. Like when we first meet John Jones, he doesn't know that he's the Martian Manhunter.
I think so. Yeah.
As far as I know,
I don't
but
know
then
a ton
he finds,
about the character.
That's why That's why I was like, okay. But what you're saying is, look at it this way: the Martian Manhunter is not tangible. This guy is. That is not. That is a figment of his imagination, an entity, if you will, but
like
not.
it's
not
Venom.
corporeal.
It's
not
a symbiotic relationship.
Yes and no, because people can see Venom. Nobody else can see this thing.
True, but I'm saying it's more. It's
Yeah.
less of him disguising as John and more of John as his own character.
It's
that
similar.
Has this, and
yeah.
he also says that he's not from Mars. He said, "I'm Martian" in the sense of like I'm alien to you.
So it's similar. But that helps
seriously,
a little
man. I cannot. I'll say it right now. I'm starting to feel like we'll see how this goes, but this might be up there. This might be sliding into my top 3. I would say it might be.
Are you sure? Because wait till you read
I haven't
Absolute
read-
Green Lantern #2.
I also haven't read Absolute Superman #7 yet, but I will say right now, I would put it above Superman.
Huh.
Well, hold on. That's not fair. It's only 2 issues in.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
It's hard to do that on this scale, and we're making up the scale ourselves. Who
It's
gives
hard
a
to
shit?
fuck on the scale.
No, but okay. If we're comparing them across the board, again, I cannot.
I don't know if you can all 6 of them. I think you have to do them by
Yeah,
chunks
you
of
got to
3.
do them by the Trinity, then you got to do them by this next batch, which is
a
what?
little bit. And right now,
Green Lantern,
that's the
Manhunter.
best one. But Flash is up there, and
Flash is really good.
Absolute Green Lantern's okay.
We'll find out. I haven't read.
I'm over. We'll talk about it
Again, dude. DC, Absolute books. I was so fucking wrong. All of them have been good.
We are happy to tell you that we were wrong, stupid motherfuckers.
I love this book, and I cannot wait to buy it as a trade. Because I want that shit on my shelf.
So, we're moving on to Superior Avengers #1, and this caught my eye in the comic store because it's got a guy on the cover. It's got a super team. It's got, but the main guy is a Captain America. He's clearly meant to be like the Captain America version, but he's got like a triangular shield like Cap's original, and he's green, and he's kind of got a Doctor Doom kind of face. There's a character in here named Kristoff, and he was a character in the FF comics for Fantastic Four comics for many, many years. And what it was originally he was a 6-year-old kid that Doctor Doom imprinted with his brain pattern. So this 6-year-old kid thinks he's Doctor Doom, right? And that's Kristoff, and he's in his comic. But I thought that was him, that this was Kristoff, because he's appeared as a type of Doom before in the comics. So Superior Spider-Man is when Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body, right?
Yeah.
So
actually, surprisingly, I hated it when it first came. Like when it came out.
Read any of it.
But it's actually not that bad.
But they did another Superior with
pretty
another
good.
hero and another villain. You know what? Before we do anything, so we're reading. It intrigued me, and I thought I can buy like the first one and see what it's like. Because right now, DC is more on my pull list because they're doing interesting things.
Yeah.
And right now, Marvel, every single book is somehow this one world under Doom thing, which I get it. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. Okay. But this intrigued me because I was like, what do they have here? And we talked about this off the air. Dark Reign, the Dark Avengers era, was one of my favorites just because of how creative they got with who they got to play which of the Avengers, right?
You remember Iron Patriot?
Yes. I remember,
That's where it started.
I remember
folks.
that Kree dude got laid with Moonstar, like fucked his brains out one night during that saga. Moonstone was playing. Who was she on the team? But originally she's a villain named Moonstone, and there's a Kree guy, like Marvel Boy or whatever. Yeah, she fucked his brains out, and he was like, "I do not understand, but I liked it."
Getting fucked.
Well, yeah, I was like, "You're a Kree, you know what fucking is." So we open up the book, and Washington, D.C., and Annihilus is just attacking. And this lady's like, oh, God, please. And she gets saved by what looks like the Black Panther. And she's like, you saved me. Thank you. And she's like, and it's a woman. And she's like, stay out of the way.
See, I thought it was Shuri?
Shuri.
I thought it was Shuri.
Well, it's Superior Avengers, so you knew it wasn't. Oh, you thought it was an alternate Shuri?
Yeah.
And then we start, seeing all these other people. Dr. Octopus, and it's a female version of Dr. Octopus, and they're saving things, and Malekith is there, and he's helping, and Onslaught, which is a decimated version of Onslaught, and he doesn't have his shiny eyes. And then we got Abomination, who is the guy with the shield.
Yeah, which when you hear Abomination, you'd think the Hulk villain, the Hulk-sized guy.
And he's like proceeding to the adversary for his magnanimous glory. Hail Doom! And they basically, Ghost is there too, and they end up taking out Annihilus. Or they get him to run away.
Yeah, they push him back.
And so then this senator's like, who are you people? And he's like, and she's like, the Black Panther is like, is it not obvious, Senator? We are the Avengers.
What?
So then we read this, and it's got the normal, there comes a day, the Avengers were born to fight no heroes, no singles, blah, blah, blah. These are not those heroes. Dr. Doom is victorious. The world has changed, and Victor Von Doom has taken his place as the leader of a united Latveria, the planet Earth. That's all it says. And then it has Killmonger. So it's a female Killmonger. Abomination, Dr. Octopus, Onslaught, Malekith,
female Doc Ock,
Ghost, and Christophe Bernard, who is a kid from like way back in the Fantastic Four who got imprinted with Dr. Doom's personality, like his brainwaves. So he's been like Dr. Doom forever. Anyway, so they show that, and they go 2 weeks earlier, and it's Christoph, and he's working on something in Latveria, and Doom comes with his cape, his Sorcerer Supreme cape, and he's like, "Hey, show me. You're the son of Doom, Christoph. Show me. What are you working on?" And he gets somebody from the future, from 44 years in the future, and it's Amadeus Cho, and he starts trying to attack Doom. Doom just vaporizes.
And he's full on just and
he's like, you are the son of Doom,
fireballs.
Christoph, show me. So then they show him at present time when they just finished the thing, and he's introducing the Superior Avengers, and he says they're all from 100 years from now, and they've been brought back to show you and to tell you how great it is under Doom. It's kind of like a marketing ploy almost. And they go away from the press conference, and they start. They realize after they get away from everybody that they're under some serious shit. They're into some serious shit. They're like, we're fine. We got all the AI is done, and nobody's gonna know it's us, and nobody's gonna know what we're doing, and da 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 da. And they show a page from when they were their own time, and it's an incursion.
Yeah,
that's happening, and they can't stop it, and then they come right back to the beginning, to the present. None of us have forgotten what we're running from, Killmonger, and they find a way to the negative zone with a giant prison, which they know is one of the few places they can go where Doom can't see him.
Yeah,
and at the end of it, she's like, "We already killed Doom once, and we'll burn this entire era to ashes if that's what it takes to reclaim our future."
Yeah.
That's the end of the first issue.
I don't even know what to make of it.
So,
I'm trying to not be disrespectful.
You know what? I'll do the respectful stuff, and then we can kind of pick it apart. Okay.
Sure.
I liked the book because I'm always a fan. As much as the multiverse has been done to death, and sometimes really badly, there are some of these, like the what are the Injustice Society? What are they called in DC?
The Legion of Doom.
No, like the Ultraman, the evil counterparts of like the Trinity, like Ultraman.
League, I think.
Is that what they're called? And it's like, and they got Power Ring instead of Green Lantern, and they have Superwoman instead of Wonder Woman.
It was I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. that is intriguing to me all the time. And I got this one time. I got this. It was a trade, and it was the New 52, and they reintroduced them into the New 52 era. So they had, and each book opened with the origin of one of each of the members, and the origin of Power Ring is fucking horrifying. It's way different. You know what the origin of his
I
is?
haven't read any of it.
In this one anyway, Abin Sur, this guy.
Hold on. We should finish talking about this.
No, because I want to talk about how cool it is, because they show how he finds Abin Sur in his reality, but he's like cancerous, and he's like, "Oh my God, please take the ring. Oh my God, it'll give you your wildest dreams." And the guy's like, "Okay," and he takes it, and Abin Sur dies, and he's like, "Thank God I got rid of it. I'm free."
Oh.
And this thing he's got is called the Ring of Volthoom, which is this extra dimensional entity which basically violates you to repower.
It like takes your life.
Know it?
Oh
It's
my
an
God.
extra dimensional tentacle thingy.
What?
I was like, that's fucked up.
Why? All right. You know, if you're into tentacle porn, that's fine, but don't put it in my green light.
No, they didn't show it. They just showed like he put his hand like inside this portal, and it was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, man. I just
So if
I
it's
don't
done
have much
right,
of an opinion on
and
this
no,
book.
I didn't think that wasn't my favorite part. I was just saying it was interesting. Like, oh, what an interesting take on the Green Lantern mythos. That instead of a boon or a gift, it is a curse and a horrifying like thing to happen to you. Because clearly, Abin Sur was like free to get rid of it, right? Like, oh God, I finally
Yeah.
got rid of it. This is clearly is. I'd like to see what happens next to see how it ends and is resolved, because if it's a 5-issue miniseries like we've seen, like Defenders and all that, I'm down with that. I'll buy all 5 and I'll read them. But if it's an ongoing thing or something, I want to really just find out what the fuck is going on with the Abomination.
Yeah, why isn't he like a Hulk?
And to me, it's clear that they're all offspring of some sorts.
Yeah. I just don't really care about these characters.
I get it.
It's very niche.
Did you at least like the art?
Oh, I'm not saying like I don't think the book itself is terrible or
Well, there you
or
go.
bad
That's
anyway.
yeah.
I just it's just and I'm
why is it
trying-
here? Why is it necessary?
Well, I'm trying to be
What are we doing
respectful
here?
because I know how bad this sounds to say like I have no opinion of it.
There's
like,
nothing
I just
wrong
kind of
with
read
that.
it and I was like, meh.
Okay.
Like there was nothing
Then
for
say
me.
that. Be truthful with our listeners.
Yeah, but I don't want to sound like a jerk because I know how that sounds to
Why?
see somebody's like. Yeah, I think the,
I've said some of your shit that's shit.
I think the writing's fine. I think the art's good, really good. But I just here's my problem, and I said this before we recorded.
What are we doing here?
I can't be bothered.
You have the same attitude about me and Daredevil in the MCU. What are we doing here? What is this for?
Like, what is this whole one
Right.
world under Doom shit?
I
Like, what are we
don't-
doing with this?
the
Like, what
thing
is this
is-
leading to?
The thing is, and I touched on it a little earlier, and let me kind of give you a more whatever. There's 2 kinds of books on the shelf for Marvel right now. Well, 3. There's there's Godzilla versus whoever. There's X-Men books, and even those, a lot of those are one world under Doom, the big banner up top. And I get that, this is a big crossover and stuff, but is this really going to have any lasting effects in the Marvel universe? Or is it just a crossover that's going to go, everything's going to go back to status quo afterwards?
Yeah, I feel like to me, this is to build hype to Fantastic Four because I think this is a thing of you and I both think that
Sure.
Doctor Doom is going to have a little bit more presence than we might think to set up Doomsday.
I believe so.
Especially because they're all filming together right now.
Well, also, where's Doom been this whole time in the MCU?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to come from the same place, don't they? Anyway,
He has to be in the universe.
this was the only one of the few of the titles that I see every Wednesday, because there's a bunch every Wednesday, that was like, oh, that looks like something I wouldn't mind seeing. There's another one called Doom Academy, which replaced a series called Strange Academy. But I didn't really read Strange Academy, so why the fuck would I read Doom Academy? You know, like there's so many things going on in Marvel Comics, and it goes in cycles. There's times when I'm like, oh, I got like 4 Marvel titles I'm reading right now. And then those end. And then I don't read anything else. So it's like sometimes I buy a book just so I can buy more than 2.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it at all. I don't mind. I have no problem with you not having like like, oh my God, it just made me just get such a fucking boner. You know, like I don't have a problem
No,
with that.
I'm not creaming in my jeans like I am for
No, and I don't.
Absolute Martian Manhunter.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you know, I mean, I would say, you know, maybe don't cream your jeans because it's messy.
Can I wrap up the show
Yeah, let's do that.
with some decisions to be made?
With some decisions to be made. That was my worst singing voice, just for you.
Yeah, we got some books that, as you and I have mentioned on the show before, we're going to kind of be winding down our poll list and maybe
A little
going
bit,
back
because we're
into-
getting away. I'll say this. I am definitely continuing Absolute Wonder Woman.
Mm.
Um,
yeah.
the original artist is coming back. They had an ad for the next arc in the latest Absolute Green Lantern. I don't give a fuck about the Absolute Green Lantern, and we'll talk about that next week. Flash, it's been good, and Absolute Martian Manhunter, I'm intrigued enough by the art, and I love the art so much that I'm willing to do at least the first arc with you, because you're just creaming your jeans over this one. I'm just creaming my jeans. But he's probably telling us that the show's over. Maybe. Up and off topic with Jake and Tyler.